Hey everybody, today is Monday, March 21st, and we got a special guest, Luby, and his wife Sherry, from a little special you may have watched called Netflix Golden Greed, The Hunt for Fenn's Treasure.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on the show. My wife's upstairs dealing with some.
Let's just say, are you happy you did it, or maybe you wish you wouldn't have done it?
Oh no, I'm thrilled that we did it. This whole search consumed. I wouldn't say consumed, but occupied quite a bit of our time, and it was just something that I don't know. We had to go do. I documented it all. They edited it in a little bit different manner than the way it probably went down for us. Which, hey, it's a show, and I get that. So. But yeah, I wouldn't have changed a thing. It was awesome getting out there with the kids. And then, my plan was to find the treasure and create my own video series with clues in it. So it didn't quite go the way I wanted, but, it was still
Well, let's
fun.
go back to the beginning. So you were a forest Fenn hunter for a long time, and you have a New Mexico solve. We saw that. How did you get in touch with? I know, like a lot of us know what's happened, but we have so many new people. Like people said, how was he picked over someone else? Did you do the application? Did they reach out to you? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, it was. I've been watching you guys for years, just kind of silently, as the hunt went on. And I think you guys had a show, I'm sure you did, that mentioned it somewhere with a link either in the chat or a link in the description at the bottom. Either way, I found the link and went to it. And, I think it said submit like a short video or you could write something. And I was an airline pilot at the time. I still fly, but I fly corporate and for private people now. But so I just shot it from the cockpit of the airplane and said, hey, I'm just coming in from Tokyo. This is who I am and what I do. And I kind of have a YouTube channel where I'm familiar with editing enough to where I made it more entertaining than just, hey, here I am. I want to be on your show. I'm like, hey, this is my wife. I'm married. I've got kids. This is how old we are. This is some of the shots I've taken. I had drone shots and GoPro shots, and I documented a lot of our adventures. So I tried to make a little, trailer that would be appealing to them. And I guess it worked. So yeah. So
well, that's cool. That was probably 2020, 2021-ish after the find, right?
Yeah, I guess I've kind of lost track on the years, but yeah, we went out and I know. I think it was 2016 and 17 and 18. We went looking until it was found essentially. And I think the show kind of got a hold of us after the fact. It was going to be a movie, I think, at first directed by somebody. I think Theo Love. I think is that a real name or is that
it
seems a little sketchy, but yeah. Yeah, so it was going to be something like that, and we talked to him for a while, and then it sort of fell apart or went away, and then Nomatica and Jared got involved, and it was one of these like, I'm so excited to be a part of this. Then 6 months would go by with nothing, and then hey, we're back on this, and it was just a roller coaster, to be honest. I didn't know if the show would ever come out, and he even said that Jared, the producer, was like, we sell a lot of shows to a lot of companies that we get paid, but they never actually air.
Right.
So he goes, don't be disappointed. But then when they wanted to change the name, it was going to be Treasure Hunters, and they changed it to Golden Greed. He's like, oh, that's a good thing. If they change the title, they're going to air it. So
that's good.
Greed part, but yeah.
Now I'm going to ask your wife the same question when she gets here, but you're a treasure hunter and you're already you have some eccentric hobbies like snakes that bite your eye and you almost lose it. But what did your family think the first time? Because I will say maybe one of your kids didn't look at as enthusiastic boots on the ground as the rest of you. Sherry, hi. What did you think when, he already has some interesting hobbies. So when he said, I want to go treasure hunting, were you like, I'm all in, or what are you talking about? Or what did that look like?
Well, at first I didn't know what the treasure hunt was. So he was telling me that he'd been watching this TV show and he learned about this treasure that was hidden and there was a poem and
I hate poetry. So I was out right away. I'm like, I'm not doing this, but
anyway, so he read me the poem and I thought, the poem sounded cool. And then he kind of started breaking it down and telling me, oh, this is what I think the clues are and where I think it is. And so I was on board. I thought, yeah, this sounds fun. Let's go for it.
And now
you
is
got hooks
one
with the
kid
rest of
more into it than that? Like maybe your daughter's more into it than your son, who kind of did the rolly eyes, which we all love because we
That
have
was
Oh
great.
someone
gosh,
that has done that.
he's so funny. You know, honestly, he really was into the solve. He's just always like that whenever I pull out the camera.
And to be fair, since I make YouTube videos about me chasing snakes all over the place, but the kids are in a lot of the videos as well as my wife. And like I shoot things as they happen, but like if I don't like what someone said or whatever, I'll shoot it 2 or 3 times
Okay.
and then pick the one I want. Well, that happened to be the third time that little scene you saw where
He's
he
over
rolls
it.
his eyes was the third shot of us trying to shoot that. Hey, heading to the airport. And he's just like, I'm over this.
But regardless, he was not going to go, yes, we're going for the treasure. That is not his personality. That is him. That is his, you get what you get.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys watched a couple weeks ago, I took David, very similar age, and I took him off video games for our 3rd boots on the ground in 2 days. And I did a video of like, what do you think? He's like, this sucks. I'm having to go back. He found it an hour later and then he's jumping up and down and all that. And I was like, so he was the finder, but it was like, I had him on video before that. And we showed that video just to say I was in the middle of a whatever season, whatever on Minecraft. I don't even know what.
Yeah.
So,
What kind of treasure hunt were you doing?
It was a local Vegas.
Yeah, it's a local Vegas. A guy named 3D Bronze, famous 3D Bronze, did one. A couple $100 one, but it was getting out there, and we'd already been there for hours and hours. Kind of like what you guys. How many times did you go back? Okay, first of all, I didn't know you had a New Mexico solve. I've talked to you for years, Lou. I thought you were in a totally different area, which we'll talk about. But your New Mexico solve. How many times did you go out, and how exhaustive was it, or did you move around to different areas? What that?
The show made it look like we went once and then we were going to go again, but then it was found, so we didn't go back. That's a little creative editing. We went once, and that's the time we went to that first fence, the private property, and I'm like, I'm not going to be that dad. I'm not crossing.
It took us a while to get there. It wasn't like we just drove we had been like.
Yeah, but that was our first time. We had a plan,
right? And then we finally got down to that spot after driving kind of in a little bit
forest
of
roads and
areas.
But we were like 3 miles from where I needed to be. We needed to be, and then we got up to that gate, and I'm like, well, gosh, I wonder how long that gate's been there. So. First of all, that was it. It wasn't like, well, we enjoyed the scenery and stuff, but it was like, well, I'm not going to just go looking around. It's, I have a spot. So
the sucky thing was that we didn't have more time. We couldn't hang out for a couple more days, and we had to leave. He had to work, and the kids had school, and so we had to leave and then plan a trip back.
Yeah. So
is that when you get the flat tire?
No, that's
creative editing.
So
that was a separate time.
Yeah, so we went home, and then I just sort of not gave up, but I'm like, well, there's no way he'd want us to cross some land, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that land wasn't private back, 10 years previous. So on Google Earth, you can hit their history tool and go back.
And that's when you started researching who owned the land and. All of that stuff, and all these coincidences started happening.
There could be a steward involved. We don't know.
What's that?
I said there could be a steward involved. Justin talks about a steward, and you could have rights if the land transitions. It could be.
This was a weird one because I looked up the landowner. I found it was a guy named Don Mullins, and I just cross-searched Don Mullins and Forrest Fenn, and then I came up with a Mark Mullins and a Forrest Fenn that wrote books together. Right. And Mark had named one of his kids Fenn, which I thought was kind of bizarre.
You can't get away from it now. You can't get away.
And then I'm like, well, all right, that doesn't help really. But what's Mark's dad's name? His name is Don Mullins, and I'm like, oh, this. Like, come on, what are the odds on that, right? So then I'm like, well, we got to go back. So I got a hold of the Don Mullins, and he told us the back way to go in, which.
Well, it was kind of awkward calling him. It wasn't like he just got a hold of him. He's like, what am I going to tell him? And he's like, I'm just going to tell him I'm a pilot, and I like to look at rock formations. And
I made up a lot.
Something like that. So
I could have gone with snakes. Are there any snakes in there that I can go in and you could show me?
Oh, we found a snake on the second trip there, maybe the first. So we ended up going back a year later because it was the end of the season. We went the first time. So we waited a year. We went the back way in where you could legally go in, but it was just too long of a walk.
You think it was a year?
It was.
Was it?
Yeah. Anyway, or very close to it. the next season, and we just realized he
Well,
wouldn't.
and
have,
you went back too on your own.
that was the next year.
Okay.
So we went
So there's years
twice with
involved.
family.
Yeah, because it made it look like it was kind of short, and they
Yeah, it's just
so much story development.
Yeah, Jared was really, he's like, oh, I really wish you would have got to your actual location so you can show, the cross and all the stuff that would have lined up, because I could have shared more of your story. So he edited it how, I'm just happy to be a part of the show at all. I would have probably made more of a fool of myself if I was in it more than I was. So,
well, I
okay.
do have to say, I was a little disappointed I think you had, okay, of course, everyone's going to go crazy here. Dogs barking. I did want to see more of your guys' story, because you had the only little kid family. You had a wife that was supportive. So many people, you guys can attest in our chat room, they don't have that. Mike and I are unique, like you guys are unique, that there wasn't a conflict there. There was a family unit. But I got to ask, you where's your other location? Mount Haynes. What happened? I've always known you as Mount Haynes.
No, it's once the treasure was found, like I couldn't let it go when it was found. When they said, all right, we're going to give you the state, Wyoming. I'm like, okay. Even though there's no treasure to be found, I still wanted to find where it was, on my own somehow. So I started working in that area, and all right, where can I make this?
Okay.
How can I make
that
this
was a
happen?
post line, kind of like everyone says you believe in 9 Mile Hole. No. I believe from investigation after when Wyoming was so it sounds like that's similar. I didn't catch on to that. I thought Mount Haynes was for years and years. Okay.
Yeah, and I was hoping there's some poetic ending. I was really hoping even the 9 Mile Hole, which if the solve is what the solve is, I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. But notwithstanding that, I was hoping that maybe as a teenager, he was there with a girlfriend or something and carved his initials in the tree, and that, it would have gone up so high over the years and he had still found his initials, and something like that would have been really cool. But anyway.
Did you guys ever get to meet? Yeah, it would have been. Did you ever get to meet Forrest?
No.
Well, we had an encounter with his house, and the gates opened, and there was
like that.
No, but there
you broke me.
We were going to leave him a note. So one time after we were out there,
I put on a black ski mask.
No, it wasn't like that at all. That Lou left him a poem. He wrote his own poem of giving him clues, we know where this treasure is. Because anyway, and then we drove up there. We were going to slide it under his door or something. I don't know.
The gate opened.
We had the kids with us, and the gate opened. And then there was a guy standing in there. It wasn't Forrest, but he had a big rifle.
Yeah, big
gun.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh gosh, we better not be here.
He wasn't pointing at us. But,
not pointing it, but he was protecting the land.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You needed to get footage of that. That would have been gold.
What?
So,
I said you should have gotten film of that. That would have definitely made Golden Green.
I know. We had footage too that it didn't get it, made it in, but there was stuff that I'm like, shoot, I wish we would have gotten that. I wish we would have gotten that. And that would have been an interesting part of it.
So are you working? Oh, go ahead, Mike.
We did get a super chat from Chad Bird. He says, Lou B, Snake Man. So everybody, Lou B does have a YouTube channel, as he mentioned. This is the YouTube channel in the chat, and he's very close to 100,000 subscribers. He wants that silver.
That's been a goal for 10. That's been a goal for 10 years. I just do it for fun. I don't, but the fact that people actually watch and want to watch, it makes you feel good. I'm not going to lie.
But 100,000 is.
You have to have a big celebration.
Awesome.
We tried to make 5,000 for 4 years, and then this gave us the bump of the new treasure hunts coming out. We went.
Heck yeah!
Maybe we'll come to Vegas. Are you guys in Vegas?
Yeah, for sure. So everybody go. Chad Bird says he just subbed. There you go. So everybody go subscribe to the channel. Let's help Lou and his wife get to 100,000 subscribers, I should say, on YouTube. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Holy cow, 100K. Yeah, go check it out. It's all about snakes and all about.
Yeah. Be careful when you watch the video. Every time I'm like this, I'm white nut, okay, no, go that way. Don't when you got in the eye, I died.
That was I didn't know they were going to put that in the show. He just said, do you mind if I use some of your YouTube content or something? And I'm like, yeah, I don't have anything to hide. Use whatever you want. But when I saw that in the trailer, I'm like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that.
So what did you like best and what did you like least in the Netflix series? This is for both of you.
Well, I know what I liked the least. I really it just broke my heart about his brother, Justin's brother. Yeah. So that was like, a sad part.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That was news to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you like best? I mean, I like that they captured it so well because I was going from rooting for the hearse and then I'm crying for Justin at his moment because it seems so authentic. So I think they captured it well.
Yeah, definitely. And it showed like just, I guess, a lot of emotion for the, there's funny parts and then, sad parts. And
What's interesting is like the small little interview of me in the hotel room, with my airline pilot uniform on. That was like a 12-hour interview, So like
I was going to ask you, how long did that take?
Maybe longer. Like they had broke me, and when I was joking in the beginning, I'm like, is this like some dating show? And like it had that vibe because it was like two hotel rooms connected to each other and people were in the other room that I couldn't see. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like it really was. I was kind of joking around in a like, is this really like what's going to happen here? Is Oprah coming on and I'm going to, get in trouble or something? It was
Well,
bizarre.
it was funny because somebody said when they first saw you come on, they said, "Oh, it's the Love Island guy."
No,
Well, and go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, I was just going to say what I like best is just seeing the gleam in everyone's eyes of the excitement of looking for the treasure. So like, when the guys were in the car and they're like, "Yeah, Fenn, we're coming for you."
Yeah.
I love that part. I love when Cynthia was trying to put the tent together and she just goes and falls to the ground.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was really funny. And it was just fun seeing us in there too. I mean, how often do you get to see yourself in a Netflix series? So
Right.
Okay,
Cool.
so I'm
That's
going to
awesome.
ask you because you guys got to go to the Netflix get together, and I'm going to tell you what I heard about you guys, and then you can tell me your first impressions of the others. So I heard that Lou, that joke that you made like of Love Island, you were a comedian. Like that is ingrained in you. You were the funniest guy at the Netflix event. You just had
my wife wouldn't say that.
And Sherry, I heard you were really down to earth and like just liked talking and exchanging to people. You were a very real person. So those are the two things I heard. What did you guys think of the Cynthias and the Justins and the people we knew? And were the Hearst there? Kind of tell us everything.
Oh, you mean from the event that we went to?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish the Hearst family would have been there. Like,
Right.
I really think that they stole America's heart. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that they're just lovable and funny and
yeah, I'm assuming they were invited. My wife, since I travel a lot, I have, millions of miles on airlines and stuff. So she's like, maybe we could just give them some miles. And you're like, I don't even know these people, but she's like, give them some miles. Maybe they need some help getting out or something. But I didn't know who to reach out to. And I didn't want to feel like, hey, I got a ticket for you.
We hadn't heard if they were going to be there or not. And
so
I said, reach out to them,
I felt a little awkward doing that. So, so we didn't meet them obviously because they weren't there, but Cynthia was awesome.
Maybe someday we'll meet them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Cynthia is fantastic. I was lucky to get to sit next to her and talk quite a bit and get to know her. And she's just, I just love that she's just herself and she's comfortable in her own shoes. And I just think that she's like, I told her, you're like a mentor to me because I love that she doesn't let anything hold her back, not age, nothing. She goes out into the woods and looks for treasure by herself. And I don't know, she's just like an Amelia Earhart or something like that.
Yeah, she's really cool. She's a great person. And then,
did you get any secret hints out of Justin?
There might be one on the inside.
Oh, he did. He signed our book for us. He's such a cool guy. Like he's like another one. He's like just how he appears like on the show. So down to earth, so
Give
kind.
You a quick look, and you guys can look at it and see if there's any hints in there.
Louis, Sherry, thanks for making is it memories? Thanks for making.
I don't know. Thanks for making the documentary all it should be.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's
And he says,
at the bottom, here's your super secret.
Well, I'm not going to open that page. He says, now go and get that treasure. So
All right, so we got to ask because we're pretty sure you're a JCB. You're involved in the JCB hunt, but are you going to look for Justin's hunt? Are you looking for both, one or the other? What's the future plan hold? Yeah, there it is.
yeah,
Both, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, aren't we
Yeah,
all? It's just making
So
time.
yeah, so Lou was kind of looking at this one first, then I started reading it. I'm about halfway through it, and Lou started in on this one now. So I want to on Justin's, but I want to finish this one before I start in on Justin. So reading it, and then
the fact that the one treasure is possibly in California or very close to the California border makes it could be totally wrong, obviously, but it makes it compelling for one, because we live in Southern California, so it's not that far. And the company I work for right now, we fly up to that area a lot. So
it's easy to go.
It's hard not to. So
you mean the area where you think the one treasure is?
Yeah.
So you'll be there this spring along with everybody else, probably looking in that area or close to that area.
Well, once I go this weekend, I don't think there'll be a need for anybody else to go.
We shall see.
Well,
I'll save you guys a trip.
He got Chance really involved in it last night, our son. So Chance is on board. He's like, "Oh, Dad," so I don't know. We'll see.
We found something. Yeah.
I hope you film it all for your YouTube channel.
I'm leaving this weekend for Justin's hunt, so I'll be up in Montana. And this cute blonde just said to me, "Hey, I want to go with you." So Cynthia, I am driving Dark Vader. She's going to be in the passenger seat, and we're heading up to.
I'm jealous. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very
so that'll
cool.
be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will see how that goes. What's next for you guys? Are you doing? I know there's.
You got to head south from where you guys live, though, right?
No. Well.
Arizona. Some people think it's in Arizona.
Yeah, turn the boat upside. The book has to be turned upside down.
And I'm not going to tell anybody they're wrong. When I get the treasure, that will be proof enough.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, I haven't even got into that one to even have a spot, but like that Lake Tahoe one, like I believe it's in that area now. I'm not trying to sell anybody else on that. If I can come up with a treasure, then I could say, hey, I'm selling you on the spot because it was right. But everybody's got their solve, and I think that's great. And there's so many different ways that you can look into it and read into it. And you can read into all these things so much more than you probably should, but it's hard not to.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's next? Are you doing, I've heard the Hearsts are getting a reality show. Justin's doing a treasure hunt.
Oh, really?
So what,
and
we haven't
rumored
until they come on and tell us, but that's the scuttlebutt from some of their friends on Discord. So
we don't have anything then.
Well, speak for yourself.
Apparently we have something.
You said you were thinking of doing your own treasure hunt. Is that a possibility in the future? You too? You think you can hide one?
Treasure?
I told Justin if we found his treasure that we'd most likely keep the meteor and hide the rest of it.
Oh wow, that's huge.
That's an easy claim. It's an easy claim to make when you haven't actually found it. When you have it sitting in front of you,
see what all's in there.
See
exactly. A lot of gold.
Well, the dragon bracelet, that would look really nice.
Dragon bracelets.
No, that's badass. That's badass.
I'd like to pay it forward in some way. It's when the Fenn box was found, it hurt. I mean, I knew someone was going to find it, and I knew it was going to hurt if I found it. And so, that's why I'd already thought about rehiding it, or at least part of it. I mean, it's hard not to, I guess. We all think the same. We all want the same adventure, I guess it seems like. So it's hard to just let that die. So.
Yeah, we don't want it to end. Right.
What was that?
I just said we don't want it to end. I mean, whoever finds them.
For sure. Like, I think that we're travelers by nature. We met when I used to be a flight attendant, and of course he's a pilot. So, and our daughter's graduating high school this year. Our son already graduated. So, and it's our 25-year wedding anniversary this June.
That's awesome.
So we want to continue to travel and store up more treasure.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the new searchers, and they're like, I've been working on JCBs for 4 solid months. I can't believe it's taken this long. I don't know what my life was before. I said, think about 10 years. Think about 8 years. I'm like, I mean, I appreciate 4 months is a long time to be in a hunt, but we're talking multi-years. I said, yeah, just think about how you feel now. But I told my daughter, she's 18. I said, what if this is found when you're 28? And what if you have she's single, just graduating high school, but she'll be married with kids most likely and in a career, et cetera. I said, what if that span you had one commonality, which is she's really into to Justin's hunt. So are you doing any more media or anything beyond this? Is it, what does that look
Jared
like?
reached out for me to shoot a pilot for a show, but it's not that I can't talk about it, I don't think, but I don't know if it'll be picked up. It's just, they needed a pilot is what they needed for the pilot. So, they needed to interview a pilot about something that
we saw a trailer for it.
Yeah,
right?
we're not supposed to.
Oh, yeah. Well, but we don't know for sure if it'll get picked up.
We'll edit that out. We're not live.
Yeah. Anyway, it would be on like the History Channel or something this summer, but it would just be, a few minutes of something that I already shot. So if it happens, great. If not, it was fun doing it. So
now, did you have any idea that Justin was going to do a treasure hunt before Netflix came out, or were you blindsided? Well, we kind of thought he was, but no inside knowledge.
No, I don't know Justin. I emailed him a few times during the hunt, just based on comments he made on your guys' channel or maybe he was on your channel. But anyway, he seemed like someone that thought logically and that I don't know, not that I'd like to say I had something in common with, but I don't want to say that. But anyway, we thought a lot alike, it seemed like. So I sent him a few emails about a few things. And, when that GPS solve came out, and I know that's a touchy point for some people, but that was a brilliant, had that been right, that would have been a brilliant solve. And I still look at Forrest Fenn's, wording and stuff every once in a while to see if there's some sort of back way to find his treasure that would be not just go to the barking dog and turn left and, see the cow on the street and turn right type, something that was like, wow, that would stand the test of time. The whole, I don't know, the whole blaze being on a tree, don't like it. It's at 100 years and it's gone. Like, the thing he said, I know the blaze is still out there. He said things that convinced me that, on interviews that convinced me that it'd have to be a little bit more timeless than it was. And, the little girl in India or whatever, where she could get the first two clues, but not the rest. And I'm like, well, she would have never gotten Warm Waters Halt, in my opinion, if that's all it was the confluence of the rivers. But I don't know. I still am hoping there's a brilliant solve somewhere hidden in there, but will anybody find it? I don't know.
Well, we were just certain that you could solve it with just the poem. So we focused on that. We did, we read the book, but
tried to isolate ourselves from interviews, from everything, to just like, I don't want to hear other people's opinions. I don't want to hear any noise or chatter. I just want to look at the poem and find something in here that no one's seen.
But after seeing the show and I feel like, you really had to read the book. Like you needed to know him and know, how he grew up and to really figure out where it was.
The one thing that I should have thought about that should have discounted my whole New Mexico solve. And I guess maybe I thought about it and just wanted the New Mexico solve to be right. But he had said in one interview, he goes, I had always known where I wanted to hide it. Like I always knew. And it's like, well, always means like since you were a kid, right? I mean, like always can't be somewhere you moved 5 years ago. So that should have been a very, very big clue. And I think that was one of his slip ups, that I always knew where I wanted to hide it, as in probably for somewhere he went as a teenager or, even younger. And anyway.
Now, have you been to 9 Mile Hole? Did you make the trip to 9 Mile Hole to check it out for yourself after the fact or no?
No, we were going to go because this is still during the Netflix filming. And I told Jared, the producer, I'm like, hey, I think we're going to go out there. I still want to go. I want to find the spot. And I think it's in that area, but I still don't think that's the actual spot. I think there's something else that.
But it's such a beautiful area anyway that we haven't been. So
I want to go. Yeah, it looks beautiful on all the videos. And northern New Mexico was stunning. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It was incredible, some of the places we went. But so, we haven't been out there yet. And I don't know if I'd ever cross now. Just
right.
I don't know. It's different. I wanted to find it. I just wanted to be right about it for some reason. I don't know why. I just wanted to be able to think I could solve it, like everybody else did, I guess. But it wasn't about the treasure. It was kind of about being able to find the treasure.
Well, we have some breaking news. Some breaking news from Cynthia. She says, I actually found out from Creighton Fenn that he took Fenn shopping for a GPS device in 2008. Fenn had the GPS coordinates to the place. He left it on the ground and walked away. So she's saying Forrest had the GPS coordinates to where the treasure was. So that maybe that's the pilot in him. He needed the GPS coordinates if he ever wanted to go back.
Yeah, and maybe somehow that's tied into the poem and just someone hasn't figured it out quite right.
Right.
And I would love to think that was the case. Now, will anybody spend the time to try and do that now? Probably not, but
I don't know. There's probably a good chance that Justin's book has GPS coordinates. I mean, it would just be a logical way to do it.
Let it go. Unless it's there, you don't force it. Just it's a poem.
What lives in time? Degrees and minutes, everybody.
I know you have lots of feelings.
Well,
you love talking.
Have you thought about the music part of it? It says something a measure in time, doesn't it?
Right.
And 3 feet.
I'm not a musician, but
not either.
Right.
Yeah. Well, is there anything that you would say that you would want to clear the record that something was either edited a little, nothing horrible, but like edited a little off, or you would have liked to be a little bit different in your family story?
I would have liked to have had the 2 searches. I would like to have gotten to the destination so we had more footage for them. I mean, I had drone shots and GoPro. I had tons of shots, but since our story didn't really have a beginning and an end, they sort of created the end with the flat tire, which was later on. And because we had a lot of good times. Like we had, Sherry was hanging out the window with her hair blowing, and we got some really cool shots.
Yeah.
And I made
stuff
my own
in the
video.
hotel room.
Well, don't
no,
take,
but just we were the kids. Come on, it's a family show.
Cynthia, that's no comments.
But there was one particular. In fact, you've used it. I think you put it on your YouTube channel or something. But we have a clip of us when we first were driving in, and it was just gorgeous. And we thought we were like entering to where the treasure was, and Chance goes, "That's sick," like that, and like.
Yeah, it was
such a moment, and I wish that clip would have made it into the show.
It was fall, and all the trees were all colorful, and it was stunning.
It was emotional. Like,
never forget that. Yeah,
like,
so that was really
even
cool.
if I think about it, like brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah, wow, that's cool. Yeah, I think I had a time that I went with my brother, and then we just sat after a couple days of searching, and I hadn't seen him in years, and it was like, this is cool. It was like that, like emotional moment of okay, I'm out here with my brother. I probably would have cried at the time, but you kind of have a few of those moments that you remember literally 5-10 years later, and you probably remember 10 years from now. That's
definitely making cool memories for sure.
And you gotta go chase those. Like I was telling Jared or something, like those memories, it's easy just for one day to roll into the next and like I can do it tomorrow, or I'll go. It's so easy. Maybe as I'm getting older, but it's easy to do that. And you got to actively I want to go do this. I'm going to do this. And you got to make those memories because, they're not going to make themselves. So
and it's crazy too. Like just to look back and like see Cirrus as a little girl, and here she's graduating high school now. And, just,
our son,
can't believe that much time's already gone by since we were looking for the treasure. It just doesn't seem like
you wouldn't recognize our son rolling his eyes. He's 22 now. And you wouldn't recognize him.
Do you think he'll ever go look on his own for one of the treasures, whether it's Justin's or JCV's? You think he'd get into it on his own?
I don't know if he put in the time.
Well, if he's in the area, he would. Like that's how if he happened to be like
But I think just from meeting Justin, he was exactly like he was portrayed in my eyes. He was a super nice guy from the heart, not hiding anything, just open about everything. We sat and talked. We had some beers at the after party. We had some beers at the after party.
Did you get any hints out of him then? You got him drunk is what I'm hearing. Did we get any hints that you want to share? Breaking news?
I wouldn't want any hints from him. That's the thing. I wouldn't have. If he would have given me one, I would have felt like maybe he didn't. I didn't know it. I wasn't asking for hints, and I didn't want hints. But I think his hunt. I have a feeling it's going to be out there for a few years. No disrespect to anybody who thinks they know where it is already. I don't,
Right.
I'm just knowing him for the few hours that we hung out. I think there's a lot that's going to probably go into this solve. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be something where, or you just click like you think like he does. But I don't know. I think he took his time with this. I think he was very, very, I don't know, dedicated to preserving what Fenn did. And I don't think he wants somebody to find it in a week type thing. So, again, no disrespect to anybody who thinks they know where it is right now.
Right.
But I just have a feeling that's why I haven't really been jumping on it right away until I at least go look up in Tahoe for the one smaller thing. But I don't think it's going to be found that quickly. But
I agree. I agree.
And now you said that you didn't know Justin, you didn't get to meet Fenn, but I have heard someone that maybe you got to see the Beast with the wrap on it. The person that got the Beast, and you got to see it.
Yeah. So Justin's old car truck.
I was going to say, explain it for the people that don't know what you're talking about. Explain it.
Yeah. So I think it's even in the Netflix series, but
it is
just barely. But he has a pretty cool looking Forerunner, some kind of big out 4-wheel drive vehicle, and it has I even messaged him. I go, man, I really like the wrap you had on there with all the elevation lines, and he's like, oh yeah, you should come check it out. It's in the parking lot. And I'm like, I thought you sold that. He goes, yeah, I sold it to one of the guys on the film crew who was at the party. And I'm like, oh really? So then we went out in the parking lot and went and looked at it. I took a couple pictures for fun.
Cool. And it's badass.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think the guy's going to take the wrap off it. I think Dave has it. But I think he's getting too much. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, he's probably getting followed around.
But then, I think so. But then he says that, but then he changed his license plate to a customized one that says like Explorer or Treasure Hunter.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what it's. So
Yeah. So, well, Cynthia and Justin were out hiking one day, so I got to babysit Tucker inside the Beast, and it's phenomenal. It's like you literally could live in that. I mean, it had a refrigerator, I think a freezer. It had everything
inside it, but it was raining. And we were all trying to It
was Seattle, so it was raining. Yeah, but but it looked kind of cool. I mean, I kind of like the idea behind it, and just stuff like that. The different lines of elevation makes me think, I have a feeling it's not just a poem where it's, I don't know, but I have a feeling whoever finds it's going to go, wow, he did a great job.
As a hider, you wouldn't want somebody to find it immediately. You'd want it to be a challenge.
Of course.
So,
And
I
then
can see a couple
gears. Yeah, I think so. And then switching gears real quick to the little mini hunts in the JCB book, the one that I think you think as well is in the Tahoe area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If what I've found is right, and it is where I think it is, and I'll obviously share it with you guys after the fact if that ends up being true. It's going to be pretty cool. Like I don't want to say too much until I go, I guess, but it would have been the most complicated and yet simple crossword puzzle. I know that doesn't make any sense of that. I'm like, how could it be in this crossword puzzle have enough information to find a spot on the globe? But anyway, we'll see. Time will tell. But I won't say too much. But
just think if you actually find it. I mean, the couple that's in Netflix on the Forrest Fenn hunt finds this other treasure.
That would be
cool. How much publicity you would have? That'd be great.
Well, they're going to think we're in on it or something. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. We'll see this week and weekend. Hopefully,
But guys, this is how sure he was that we knew where Finn's treasure was too.
Right.
So. I mean, he could be way off base at the same time. So
But then even since you guys, you've talked about the area where you guys are at and where you think it's at and all that, even that area is a big area. I mean, if you're looking for something that small, it's
huge.
It's not one that has an exact spot. You're going to have to grid search. Like I'm not worried the spot that we were in before, but the new spot, if there's just even a little bit of snow and you have to grid search, it's like, can we move or do we have to continue to be here until we can really, really grid search? I hate that we have to grid search, but
so I'm going to make it a little easier for everybody. Anybody who's in that area, if I don't find it this weekend, and the fact if there is no snow or at least snow at the elevation I need it to be.
Are you sure? I can't even go with you this weekend. Like that's sad. It's our daughter's prom. So and her boyfriend's flying in from Mexico. So I want to be there. You're going to find it.
No,
So
I know.
wait.
But what I was going to say is, if I
She
don't
stopped
find
you mid-sentence. Hold on. You better happy wife,
yeah,
happy
so
life.
you're not going. In fact, you put it back if you find it. No,
Well,
what I was
no.
going to say, if I couldn't, yeah, if
Go
I
ahead, go
can't find it, and then the ground cover is good, like there's no snow, I'll probably launch a drone and take some pretty high detail photos of the area for anybody who wants to. If I don't find it this weekend, I have a feeling I'm just wrong about what I think is going on, and therefore,
So you're that
we'll see.
confident.
But
You're that
I'm pretty
confident.
confident in a very small area, but again,
Okay.
I could be miles away or 100 feet
Oh,
away.
I hope you're not in my spot. I call
I
it
don't
my
think
spot.
I am.
I hope we don't have a shared spot.
I wouldn't know if I did, I guess. I don't follow too much. I watch your guys' show, but I get on the Discord like once or twice, say hi, and I don't really have anything to contribute, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know whose spot I'm in or if I'm in anybody's spot. I know everybody's in that same general area, I think, up there, but that general area is pretty big.
Well, now that you're tipping everybody off, it might be super crowded there this weekend.
I think
Yeah, you
it's
better
gonna
get there
be
before
crowded
I
there
do.
all the time. I have a local that goes out every 2 or 3 days and takes some pictures of general areas. And they got 2 weeks ago, another 30, 40 inches of snow. So it was
really?
like,
There's that much snow
But
right
I think
now?
you're a little higher in elevation than possible.
Okay, you're giving too much away.
I don't know where to go.
So here's the question.
I'm underwater. I'm under the lake.
Here's the question, Lou and Sherry. It's the same thing me and K-Pro go through. If you find it, do you open it or do you wait until you get home and you have to open it with the family?
Well, I have to bring it home because she's not going to be there. So,
Well, maybe you can FaceTime me or something. Like,
That's true.
maybe
Yeah.
you can't do a signal
Wait. So
either, but-
Lou, because this is a big, hotly debated topic. So you're in Tahoe by yourself. You find it. There's
Yeah.
the box, and you are saying that you would wait and get home and open it with Sherry.
yeah,
Not
what I'm going to
opening
do is
it
I'm actually
beforehand.
I'm going to leave it. I'm going to move to Puerto Rico for a year, and then I'm going to come
There
back
you
and get
go.
it.
That's it.
So
That's
Mike
the way we
believes
should
that
all
I
do.
have to wait until I'm home to open it with him. And I
That's
told
right.
him there's no
Yeah, that's
chance-
what I would do.
I don't have that
Right.
ability. What if there's something in there that says look over this corner, or you have to do there's a 0% chance. Zero.
What I am going to do is I'm going to leave a box of chocolates, like those little gold chocolate coins. I'm going to put some of those back in the spot for the next person.
Which is exactly what he said about Finn's treasure too.
Yeah, that's true.
So 3D Bronze says you have created a new treasure hunting acronym. Instead of boots on the ground, flip-flops on the ground.
Oh,
We
yeah,
noticed
that's.
you in flip-flops in the Netflix stock a couple times.
So I live in flip flops. All my snake adventures in the jungles and stuff are in flip flops.
Yeah, I've gotten on his case about it too because you really should be wearing shoes, closed-toed shoes.
I was gonna say, Sherry, what do you think about this hobby he has of snakes? Like I literally am like, I don't want him to check. You're so calm, it kind of helps, but I'm like, he's gonna after the snake. I can't. I would have a hard time if that was
I've
my
had to
husband's hobby.
adapt. Like
Okay.
when I first started dating him,
I didn't tell her.
he had a little snake, one snake like in a
Did I?
yeah, and I didn't really think there was any. I didn't know that he was that obsessed with snakes, to be honest. He did tell me, though, that when he lived on the beach, he and his roommates had a big snake, a huge one at the time.
Yeah, big.
And what was its name?
Stretch.
Stretch.
Yeah.
And Stretch got loose, and they couldn't find him.
Ate the neighborhood
Well,
cats.
he said there were some signs that were saying that the cats had been missing or something, and so they were like, well, guess that's that. We aren't going to look.
I didn't want the snake back after the cats were missing. So, yeah.
Well, I
So
knew
I
you
don't
were dedicated. I grew up in Irvine, and when you were on your way to John Wayne Airport and you're like, let's just go see a snake real quick, I was thinking that is dedication. Like I want to believe there are no snakes in her. There was no snakes when I was there growing up. No, none of them. My
They're very
cats
hard
never
to find.
disappeared.
It's not like they're everywhere. So
I've learned to adapt just because, well, now our kids have grown up around it, and they're not scared, but he's very educated. Like he knows all the species.
Yeah.
So he knows if they're venomous.
And what footwear to put on.
Yeah. Anyway, but he actually has brought them home and they've been gravid before. We had a snake incubator.
That means they're pregnant. Yeah.
Yes. And we had all the little eggs in it. It was actually really fascinating. It was a cool thing for the kids to get to see when they were little, and they, the snakes would hatch and pop their little head out of the egg. And so
just to make this a little bit more, it sounds like a crazy hobby, but like most of the pilots went out and drank beer and chased girls on the overnight, right? It's like, so to go out and look for snakes is relatively calm, in comparison. And then I just wanted to share what I was doing with the family. So I just, hey, here's a snake. And that was boring. I'm like, I wouldn't watch this. So then I started to try and tell a tale of like, here, I'm in an airplane, I'm heading to Japan. Or I tried to make it so it was not just, hey, here's a snake. It was kind of like a journey to find something, a search. And that's kind of
and there's a whole herping community too. Like there's a Fenn treasure community. Herping is like looking for snakes. Yeah. So anyway, there's a whole. It has its own community too. So you get to know people.
Anyway,
well, speaking of communities, when you get your 100K, do you get to go to the conference, the tuber conference, or is that $1 million? I thought it was 100,000.
I don't even know if I don't. All I know is you get a play button that you can put on your wall or something. That's. I've been wanting that. My goal like 10 years ago was like, I'm going to get 100,000 someday. And it was like, getting the first 100 was almost impossible. And then I started watching like videos on how to make videos and how not to make videos and what to do and not to do. And then I became a passion, not so much about finding the snakes, but telling the story of going out and adventure. And it kind of took on a life of its own, the whole editing and all that. And I enjoy it. And so I don't know if there's any, community thing I get to be a part of with 100K, but at least I will have reached a goal that I set like 10 years ago. So there's that.
To have that,
it would be cool to see like behind the scenes of that. I watched one of actually Mr. Beast of all people when he went to, I think it's when he got to, I think he's at 385 million people, larger than anyone. But he showed how all the big tubers basically come together for a conference, they showed how each of them were doing something different. It's just a place to kind of share ideas and things. So
the weird part is like most of my 1/3 of my subscribers are from some crazy little hornet I found in Japan that like, there was no creativity in making the video. And it was like, it wasn't like, that wasn't my best work. It was just like, oh, really? You subscribe because of that video? But that's YouTube. You never know what's going to do it. These little short videos seem to do better than the ones you spend hours and days on trying to make some, beautiful thing. But people don't have the time for it. For one.
When you hit 100K, like I'm wanting to do more kind of like travel vlogging style videos. Yeah. So still looking for snakes and treasure and.
Yeah, Sherry was hoping we could use the Netflix things to like, Sherry and Lou, take on Thailand or take on, Tahiti.
I think would be cool. Well, and Mike used to have his channel by himself. It didn't really get to be home, what we call Cowlazars channel, until we came together, Mike. And now it's our channel.
So cool.
People are asking.
We love watching you guys.
Oh, thank you. People are asking if their boots on the ground. If they're boots on the ground and they see a snake, what should they do? Like, don't panic, but what should they do?
Oh, me or them? Oh,
no, them. If people with boots on the ground run into a snake, what should they do?
No, just stop. Like if you just stop, even if it's a venomous snake, none of the snakes, even the ones that they portray on, on Discovery Channel, the black mambas and all that, none of those snakes go after people. They don't eat people.
They don't to not step on it.
Yeah, the people who get bit. The average person who gets bit by a rattlesnake in the U.S. is between the ages, I think, of 21 and 24. They're intoxicated and they've picked it up. So that's most of the snake bites. The rest fall into the category of I stepped on it at night. I didn't see it. So it didn't have a choice but to bite. But any snake you see, if you just stop and let it go, whether it's a king cobra, coral snake, rattlesnake, they're just going to go. Like they're just going to go. They don't want anything to do with you. So if you just stay still, give it some time. If you're far enough away, you can just walk away. But usually it'll bolt. It'll either take off or it'll freeze because camouflage is one of its best defenses. So it's like, I'm going to stop and hopefully this big animal goes away. And then if you don't go away, then it'll eventually decide I'm going away. But biting you is not in the, the things that it does. So yeah, just, take a few pictures, enjoy the experience. And, I don't know.
No, don't take pictures. Go away fast or like slowly, but don't take time to get a picture.
Or pick it up and get bit in the face, right, Lou?
Oh. Well, I do have a reason that happened. That was in Japan, of all things. So that if you were to watch the trailer, the license plate, I don't know if they blurred it out, was a Japanese plate on that car. But that snake was on the road, and a lot of snakes are found on the road at certain times of year. And I went up to grab it. It was a narrow road, so I was videoing at the time because I video everything. And as I stepped back, I wanted to look to make sure the car wasn't going to hit me because these cars go by fast sometimes. And so I just turned over my shoulder to make sure the car wasn't going to hit me. And then as soon as I turned back around, it was, it was a love bite. It was all teeth and no tongue. So I don't know if I'd call it a love bite, but yeah, I got lucky on that one. Actually, It took the top lid and the bottom lid and just closed my eyes.
Thankfully, it didn't get, the pupil of his eye.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, it was a fun video. I made it to Netflix. So.
Yeah.
And I think we can kind of see why. I mean, family, all of you going out, you're like, oh, it's just an average day. I got bit in the eye and I have 100,000 subscribers and it's really this hornet. And I mean, that's a pretty amazing, like you guys you seem so relatable, like you're normal, but you have some pretty cool stories. So it was fun to watch you guys.
No, thanks.
Thank you.
Like I said, it was a pleasure just to be a part of it all. And it went for so many years before it actually happened. It was like, it was a roller coaster. Oh, it's coming out. No, it's not coming out. It's coming out. It's like, will the solve be in there? Will the solve be in there? And that was one thing about meeting Cynthia that was really nice. She obviously really knew Forrest, and she had told us. He told us some stuff at the end that basically that it sounds like the solve is the solve, and that those are all the places. Believe it or not,
which was so important to us because when we found out the treasure had been found and we had no clue where, and they weren't going to say anything. I'm like, well, this stinks. Like, I want to know where it was and match the clues to.
Yeah. Even if I don't like the home of Brown, and even if I'm like, oh, come on, like you can't get that from the poem, but.
It'd be nice to have some finality, even though I do believe Cynthia, et cetera. The state said we're going to do right by the community because we know you need that. And then for whatever reason, it hasn't happened. So it's kind of a crappy ending to a crappy ending. But now Justin, he gets to learn from all of that. And he was frustrated as a searcher. So hopefully I keep saying he gets the benefit of improving upon, Forrest was, kind of the pioneer of new treasure hunt in today's age. And so now he gets to improve on all the things that were frustrating there just by, the order.
Yeah, I love that it's like come full circle now, and now it's into a whole nother treasure hunt. And so it's cool. I feel like for the community, instead of just going wah, 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 there's some fun and excitement to be had.
And we've had a few, like we're just a small part of a show that a lot of people maybe don't watch. There's a million shows on Netflix, but like we were just in Mexico last week and we were at dinner and someone came up to us. He's like, he goes, you're Lou, right? Or something. And he goes, you guys are the treasure hunters. And it's kind of neat. Because they're invested like, oh, I was looking for it too. And
it was crazy. Yeah. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And they wanted to take a take a with us and stuff.
It was
funny. Yeah.
It was fun. Cool. It was because they were treasure hunters as well.
Into the search. Yeah. So, there we were in Cabo. So.
Two things. I bet if the home of Brown was a snake, you probably would have liked it. Right?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. The other thing is, if you want everybody to flock to your YouTube channel, put that drone footage of Lake Tahoe up on your YouTube channel, and you're going to get all the JCB searchers to go over there and check it out and subscribe.
I'll do that. I'll do something if I don't find it, just because I want people to be able to see what the conditions are like for one.
Right.
And like I get on Google Earth, and I think a lot of these treasure hunts, you can't find it all from your desktop, but I think you can, do a lot of research. The person who hides it is not going to make it so that you just got to head out somewhere and then try and find clues. There's going to be clues you can find at home, and Google Earth image is great, but having a high res, picture might make all the difference to somebody. Right. So
yeah.
And what if someone sees it? It's actually like you're droning around. They're like, oh, at the 42-second mark, that was actually the treasure, and then we're all racing there for it.
I'm going to give away a clue. Can I give away a clue?
Oh,
what? You're going to give away a clue?
Well,
How am I
this
gonna stop
this
you?
isn't a clue, but and maybe you guys already know this, and maybe everybody already does this.
Wait, from which one though?
Well, no,
Justin's?
it will work for any of them, but I'm looking for
Oh.
that little box up in Tahoe, or I think
Right.
it's Tahoe. You know, you can look at Google Earth. You know, most people go to Maps or whatever on their phone or whatever, and that's great. If you actually go to the Google Earth app or the desktop version, and maybe you can do it on the other one as well, but you can actually go to ground level. And if people have walked with, you know how they have the street view for the streets everywhere, right? Well, there's actually cam views for the trails that people have walked. So you can literally walk that whole park that you guys are looking at mostly through somebody else's eyes with pretty good imagery.
He was obsessed with Google Earth.
Yeah. So you can just go through and literally walk from the parking where you parked and through all those trails and just hit forward. And you can, you know, I don't think you can find it that way. But you could, if you needed to see a specific area in higher detail, there's a lot better ways that, you know, maybe people know this, maybe it's general knowledge, but I didn't realize you could do that. And it does help a little bit, I think. You know, like all your little signs you said that were posts and trees and all that. Some of those you can see from those trail cams. That it's not a cam, but it's somebody walking along the trail taking 360 pictures every 10 feet or something. So
that could have been what JCB did before he made the trip, before he actually went up there, you know, to get a little reference first. But it's a good tip.
Chris, you want to come say hi? Yeah, come say hi.
So that's our daughter.
Chance is still playing.
You got to see how it. Well, maybe she will.
Oh. Well,
yeah, because this is going to be like 5 years later, or at least 5 years later, right?
Yeah, we'll see if she comes down.
I don't know if she's.
Well, here's a question for her. You said she's graduating high school. Have any of her friends in high school watched the Netflix doc, or could they not care less?
Yes, they have.
They have.
And in fact, her boyfriend's family just started watching it, so I guess they're on part 2 today, which is the one that we're in. So, yeah,
very cool.
That's cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they think it's cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you gotten, like, I'm assuming like everyone else, a lot of positive feedback? Is there anything kind of quirky? I mean, it is pretty cool. You're at a restaurant and people recognize. Cynthia and Justin were walking around Seattle, and they said several people came up to them like, "We know you guys," and so that has to be a cool feeling. So
we were another night. We were here. We were at out on a
dinner
on a date. Yeah, and there was a guy sitting at the bar, and all of a sudden he turned around and he goes, "Oh my God, big fan," or something like that. And he was like, "Whoa." Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's neat. I don't know, because they share the passion that you have. And
so far it's been nothing but like good experiences. If we are out and about and you know, someone recognizes us, they've been super cool. No one's been like, you know, "Hey, who are you?" Like,
you were 2 states away or 3 states away. Like, you know, so you know, what's the difference really? You know, we still went out and had a good time.
Everybody's in the wrong place.
You're in Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, unless you found it, everybody's in the wrong place. Yeah. So
true. Once you're up there in Lake Tahoe, I bet you get recognized as well.
Yeah. Hopefully, but I don't know. Are people there? You said there's someone that you know that goes there every day, looking around, checking the conditions for you.
No, just every couple of days, somebody is willing to check for me to give me snow levels, kind of like right at the heavenly area, and then a little bit maybe above, just to kind of give me an idea of how much. Basically, I'm trying to think. I know when I was at Van Sickle, it was spotty. And it depended on if it was shade or not, but it was spotty. So for the most part, you could see the ground. I'm just trying to say, can we see the ground? And right now there's no ground to see. It was getting closer, and then they had like 30 inches come in. So, and again, I'm not right in that area, but close enough that it's kind of giving me.
And then all it takes is one patch of snow to actually cover your spot. And then literally, you know, that's all it would take. So our daughter's
She's
here.
grown up a lot, guys.
I was going to say she's going to be 10. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Like that kind of tells you the amount of time that has gone by. So what do you think of Netflix? Did you like it? Do your friends like it?
It was so awesome. It's so cool how all my friends are watching it. It's so awesome. Especially watching my dad. My dad was so cool on it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Having the family unit, I thought, was the best, because I think that needs to be represented more. Of you get your kids out there, and then you catch the bug. My daughter's 18, going off to college, but she caught the bug for Justin's, and she's texting me, and she's able to do technology stuff. She's like, "Oh, I went on Insta and I got did." I'm like, "What is Insta?" Like I'm still a dinosaur. So that's cool that you have the generations and everybody's receiving it well. That's awesome.
She's texting us at 1 a.m.
She's just as
different
adventurous,
clues.
and what's that?
No, I was just going to say she will text us at 1 a.m. different clues, and it's like, you got to get up for school, go to bed. What are you doing?
I love it. That's so awesome.
And I think that's why, we were sort of chosen, because people are like, well, we don't know who these people are. How come they got chosen to be on the show? And it's like, we're just average hunters, I guess, but it was like a family going out. So I think they had, they had some of the other individuals, and they're like, oh, let's pick a family just to add something to the mix. So it wasn't,
well, and there were so many people that the husband searches and the wife hates it. So not only did you have a couple that liked it, you had a whole family that enjoyed it. I think that's super unique. I can't tell you how many people.
I can't believe that many wives wouldn't be into it. Like, why not?
Well, it sounds like you're being a pilot. Maybe there's times that you don't see Lou for a bit because he's flying around everywhere. When you have somebody that's at home a lot with you, and then all of a sudden they might get a little bit too far in and they don't see them a lot. And they're going boots on the ground a lot.
Yeah.
And
that's what you gotta jump on board and go with,
There you go.
I mean,
yeah.
I can see that.
So all the husbands out there, just have your wives watch this show and see what Sherry's advice is, and everybody gets to go with them.
Yeah.
So
if
I find the treasure without you guys, are you guys gonna be upset? There's this treasure up in my Tahoe.
No, as long as I get a piece of it.
Okay, I have one question for you. And what is your name? The daughter.
Cirrus.
Okay, so
like the cloud.
She's named after the Cirrus cloud. So Chance on an airplane up in the clouds, the Cirrus cloud. So Chance Cirrus.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, Cirrus. So your dad finds it in Tahoe, and do you expect him not to open it and wait for you to all open it as a family?
I mean, if it was me, I would probably open it. So, I mean, if you want to open it, you can, or if you don't want to, that's fine with me, as long as I get to see it at some point.
Oh, that would be rough. I don't think I physically could do it. I could promise my husband Mike wants me to wait if I find it, and I can tell him that. I just don't think I have the ability. I just need to open it up.
If it was me, I mean, I would probably open it.
But they do
like
have
right there on
they're
spot.
not, but they're not just open the lid and look inside. These boxes have
oh yeah, these are.
They may not be able to be opened.
Well, then I would just take it, because then that would take too much effort to do right here.
I'm as interested in the puzzle box as I am the treasure.
Yeah. So these treasures, the box themselves, you just can't open it. If there's a combination or something you need to move, those clues would be in the book.
So for that reason, I feel like throw a blanket over it and get the heck out of there. You can open it later.
I would get out of the area, because I wouldn't want any issues between hunters and things. I'd get out of the area, but I'd be looking at it. I have an 8-hour drive back or a 6-hour drive. I wouldn't make it. I'm just telling you. I don't want to lie to you, honey. I'm just telling you. There's no way I could.
I was actually, that was a concern looking for the Fenn treasure, is that we were in an area that there were a few hunters hunting elk in the area that we saw at some point. But say you roll up on $1 million and you open it up and look, I like to think the best of everybody, but at the same time, in a remote area with $1 million in gold in your hand, cover that thing up and get the heck out of there.
You don't have to worry about snakes. You have to worry about other searchers. That's what you got to worry about.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Well put.
Okay, Luby and family, thank you so much for coming on. It was really awesome that you guys were in Netflix. And we look forward to seeing some Lake Tahoe footage on the YouTube channel. Everybody go to Luby's and family's YouTube. Let's get them to 100,000 subscribers. And if you find one, come on back and talk to us. Tell us how that went.
Yeah, definitely.
We come back on. Chance has got to jump in and say hi.
We'll get our
He's just off for rock climbing.
So pencil us in for next Monday. With the treasure thing.
Right.
A week from
I
today.
love the confidence. You go, Lou.
Wait, what did you just say?
I said to pencil us in on the schedule for next Monday so I can
Oh.
show the chat. Maybe we'll open it on the air live instead of,
Hey, there you go.
You
That would be
never
awesome.
know.
And I.
yeah.
All right. Thanks
Yeah,
again.
blowtorch.
Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Guys.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Okay.
All right. See ya.
Nice.
See you next time.
All right.